Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into one of America's most iconic pieces of pocket change, the humble yet powerful Lincoln Wheat Penny. But this isn't just any penny. Oh, no doubt we're going on a journey that starts in the year 1946, a year that may seem like just another chapter in the past, but in the world of numismatics, it holds a sparkling secret worth a fortune. So sit tight, turn up the volume, and prepare to be amazed. Because somewhere, maybe even in your attic, a drawer, or a forgotten jar of coins, there could be a tiny copper treasure hiding in plain sight. Let's begin our journey. The year is 1946. The world is still catching its breath after the end of World War II. Soldiers are returning home, America is rebuilding, families are reconnecting, and tucked quietly into the rhythm of daily life, the U.S. Mint is hard at work. That year, millions of Lincoln cents were struck. They were small, unassuming copper coins designed by Victor David Brenner. On the front, or obverse, stands the profile of Abraham Lincoln, stern, wise, a symbol of strength. On the back, or reverse, two simple wheat stalks frame the bold words, 1 cent. This isn't just a coin. It's a piece of American spirit, minted for the common man, the postman, the farmer, the returning GI. But here's where things get interesting. While billions of pennies have come and gone through the hands of Americans, few have a story quite like the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Cent. And fewer still are worth more than a brand new luxury car, or even a house. Yes, you heard that right. Most 1946 pennies? Worth a cent. Maybe a few dollars if they're in good shape. But in rare cases, extremely rare, a single 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny can be worth a staggering amount of money. Not because it's made of gold. Not because it's covered in jewels. But because of something much more elusive: rarity, condition, and mystery. Let me explain. Most Lincoln cents from 1946 were made from copper. It was the first year after wartime production resumed normal materials. You see, during World War II, in 1943, the U.S. Mint made pennies out of steel coated with zinc to save copper for the war effort. But by 1946, they returned to copper. That makes 1946 pennies seem ordinary. But here's the twist. Every once in a while, something strange happens at the mint. A coin gets struck on the wrong metal, or with the wrong die. Sometimes, a proof coin escapes into circulation. And sometimes, a coin survives in pristine, untouched condition for decades. That's when things start to heat up for collectors. The most valuable 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny wasn't just lucky. It was perfect. Minted in the Denver Mint or the Philadelphia Mint, it somehow avoided scratches, avoided wear, and remained exactly as it was the day it was born, shining with original luster, sharp details, and full brilliance. And when such a coin gets discovered, especially in mint state 68 red or higher, well, that's when coin collectors around the world sit up and take notice. But there's more. Some of these 1946 pennies have errors, and collectors absolutely love errors. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or even a repunched mint mark, these flaws make the coin even more fascinating. They're tiny mistakes that turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. So imagine this: you're sifting through an old coin collection, maybe one passed down from your grandfather. You're not expecting much. Just a bunch of old pennies, right? And then you see it. A 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny. The color is rich, a deep coppery red. The strike is strong. You do a little research, maybe take it to a coin shop. And then, the expert's eyes widen, because what you're holding isn't just a penny. It's a portal into history. A relic of post-war America. A coin so rare, so pristine, so desirable, that collectors are willing to pay a fortune to own it. Now, you might be asking, what kind of fortune are we talking about? Is it worth $10? $100? Not even close. A record-breaking auction stunned the coin-collecting world when one of these flawless 1946 Lincoln Wheat Pennies sold, not just for hundreds, not even thousands, but for $245,000. That's right. A single copper penny. Just 1 cent, worth $245,000. Let that sink in. You could be walking past one. You could have one buried in a dusty jar or glued into an old album from a relative who collected coins long ago. And that's why this isn't just a story about a penny. It's a story about possibility. About paying attention to the small things. Because sometimes the smallest details, the tiniest coins, hold the biggest secrets. So what should you do now? First, go check your coins. Look for the date, 1946. Check both sides. Is the color vibrant? Does it shine like the day it was minted? Are there any strange marks or doubling? If so, you might be onto something. Get it appraised. Have it graded. Because that tiny penny you almost threw away might just be your golden ticket. And if you don't have one? That's okay. Keep searching. Keep learning. Because in the world of numismatics, treasure is out there, waiting. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin. Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next one we tell. Until then, happy collecting, stay curious, and remember, sometimes, 1 cent can change your life. Top 2. I invite you to join me on a journey. A journey that starts with something so small, so ordinary, you've probably held one in your hand 100 times without giving it a second thought. A copper coin. A single cent. A humble Lincoln Wheat Penny. But don't be fooled by its size. Because this particular penny, from the year 1951, might just hold a secret. A secret that could turn a forgotten jar of change into a fortune. A secret so rare, so powerful, that it continues to shock the coin collecting world to this very day. Let's uncover that secret together. The year is 1951. It's a different America. The echoes of World War II have begun to fade, but the Cold War is just beginning to cast its shadow. Harry S. Truman is president. Gas costs 20 cents a gallon. Color television is a luxury. And tucked into the everyday rhythm of post-war life, the United States Mint is quietly producing millions of coins to keep the country's economy spinning. Among those coins is the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny. On the surface, it's nothing flashy. Just another penny, right? It features the solemn face of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design created in 1909 by the legendary Victor David Brenner to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. And on the reverse, 2 elegant wheat stalks frame the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. It's a simple, powerful design that carried the hopes, struggles, and resilience of the American people in the palm of their hands for decades. But as always with coins, the real story lies beneath the surface. Now here's where things get truly fascinating. Most 1951 wheat pennies were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. You can tell which mint a penny came from by looking for a small mint mark under the date, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mark at all for Philadelphia. That year, the U.S. Mint struck over 1 billion Lincoln cents across all 3 locations. That's right, more than 1 billion. So how can a penny from that year be worth more than a brand new luxury car today? The answer lies in 3 words: condition, rarity, and error. You see, most of those 1951 pennies went straight into circulation. They were exchanged for gum and newspapers, lunch counters and payphones. Worn down by decades of use. Scratched, tarnished, dented. Some were lost. Others were melted. And very, very few survived in perfect, untouched, uncirculated condition. Even fewer have what collectors call a full red luster, that bright, fiery copper glow that comes only from being carefully preserved from the very day it was minted. A penny like that, kept in pristine condition for over 70 years, is as rare as a snowflake in July. And then, there are the errors. Yes, sometimes the mint, despite its precision, makes mistakes. A double die. A repunched mint mark. An off-center strike. Or, incredibly, a penny that gets struck on the wrong type of metal entirely. These aren't flaws. These are numismatic gold mines. Because when era meets rarity, and rarity meets condition, you get a coin that becomes more than just a coin. You get a legend. So picture this. You're at a flea market, or helping clean out your grandparents' house. You come across a small box of old coins. Nothing too fancy. A few nickels, a handful of dimes, and some old wheat pennies. You pick one up. It says 1951. You turn it over. It's sharp, clean, almost glowing. No scratches, no dents. You look closer. Could that be a tiny mint error near the lettering? Is the strike just a little off? You don't think much of it. You put it back in the box. But what if I told you that single coin, no bigger than your thumbnail, could be worth enough to pay off all your debt, buy a new home, or even send your kids to college? Because that's exactly what happened to one very lucky collector. In the world of coins, every detail matters. The ridges, the shine, the precision of each letter and number. Whether a coin was stored in a drawer, a pouch, or a bank vault can change everything. And when it comes to the Lincoln Wheat Penny from 1951, those tiny factors can turn what seems like just another coin into something truly extraordinary. Collectors today are willing to pay enormous sums for these rare, perfect specimens. Not just because of their beauty, but because of their history. Because holding one is like holding a piece of American heritage. A glimpse into the post-war optimism, into the hands of the people who built the highways, the factories, the schools. Into the soul of a changing nation. And now, as coin collecting continues to grow in popularity, stories like these are surfacing more and more. People are rediscovering what's been hiding in plain sight, on bedroom dressers, in piggy banks, or buried deep in old family safes. But here's the catch: you have to know what you're looking for. You have to understand what makes a coin valuable. And you have to look closely. Because the tiniest detail can make the biggest difference. Now let me give you the reason why this story matters so much. In one of the most surprising and record-breaking sales in recent coin auction history, a flawless, uncirculated 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny, struck in beautiful red luster, preserved in nearly perfect condition, and showcasing exceptional strike quality, was sold to a private collector. The price? $215,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin originally worth just 1 cent. A piece of metal so small you could lose it between the couch cushions. Sold for $215,000. And there might be more out there, waiting to be found. In your change jar. In an old box. In the pockets of forgotten history. So the next time you find a wheat penny, stop. Look closely. Study the date. Study the condition. What seems ordinary could be extraordinary. What looks like a penny might just be your very own hidden treasure. Thank you for joining us today on this incredible journey through time, mystery, and money. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and share this with anyone you know who might just have an old coin collection tucked away. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep checking your change, because the next great discovery could be in your hands right now. Top 3. We're peeling back the layers of time to uncover the fascinating story of a coin so small, so familiar, yet potentially so valuable, it could change your life. We're talking about the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny, a piece of American history that may just be hiding in your pocket change, your old coin jar, or maybe even inside a dusty drawer you haven't opened in years. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny. What could possibly make it special? But here's the truth. Sometimes, the most ordinary things hold the most extraordinary value. And the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those quiet legends, humble in size, rich in story, and in some rare cases, worth a fortune. Let's dig deep into why. The year is 1952. America is riding the wave of the post-World War II boom. Families are moving to the suburbs, televisions are becoming household staples, and Dwight D. Eisenhower is preparing to take the helm as President of the United States. It's a time of optimism, expansion, and innovation. And amid the hustle and bustle of this growing nation, the U.S. Mint is quietly doing what it's always done, producing coins to keep commerce flowing smoothly, Among those coins is the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Cent designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909. This penny features a bold profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the front. It was the first U.S. coin to bear the image of a real person, and it remains one of the most iconic coin designs in American history. The reverse side of the coin showcases two wheat stalks curving around the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that has since become a symbol of American coinage nostalgia. Billions of these wheat pennies were minted over the years, including in 1952. But not all of them are created equal. Here's where things get interesting. In 1952, 3 mints were producing Lincoln cents: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell which mint your penny came from by looking right below the date. A small D indicates Denver. An S means San Francisco. And if there's no mint mark at all, it came from Philadelphia. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 186 million of these coins. Denver struck over 746 million. San Francisco added nearly 137 million. That's over a billion pennies combined. So how can a coin that was produced in such massive numbers become so rare? The answer lies in two things: condition and uniqueness. Most of the 1952 pennies were spent, worn down, and circulated for years, buying candy bars, newspapers, sodas, and bus fares. Time, wear, and weather took their toll. Most of them ended up scratched, faded, dented, and forgotten. But a tiny fraction, a precious few, survived in pristine, untouched condition. These coins were either saved by collectors, sealed in rolls, or hidden away in bank vaults. And when those pennies resurface in nearly perfect, mint-state quality, collectors take notice, especially when they have something unusual. And this is where the magic happens. Imagine a 1952 penny that wasn't just well preserved, but struck with exceptional precision. A coin that gleams with its original red luster, as if it just rolled off the minting press yesterday. A coin with bold details, razor-sharp lines, and flawless surfaces. That alone can make it worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. Now add a twist. Some of these rare 1952 pennies were struck with errors. Minting mistakes. Rare imperfections that turn them into prized collectibles. We're talking about doubled dies, where the design is stamped twice, slightly off from the first strike, creating a ghost-like doubling effect. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is literally missing because the coin wasn't lined up properly. Repunched mint marks, where the small letter under the date appears twice, slightly misaligned. And even wrong planchet errors, where the penny was accidentally struck on a metal blank meant for another coin entirely. These aren't flaws, they're opportunities. For collectors, these errors are like fingerprints. Unique. Irreplicable. Valuable. Because the numismatic market thrives on rarity and curiosity. And nothing excites a collector more than a coin that stands apart from the rest. So, what does that mean for you? It means that if you've got an old coin collection, if your grandparents saved change during the war years, if you stumble upon a dusty box of coins at a yard sale or flea market, you might just find yourself holding one of these hidden gems. The key is knowing what to look for. A clean surface. Strong details. Original red luster, and above all, something different. Something unique. A 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny in poor condition? It might be worth a few cents. One in excellent condition? That could be worth hundreds. But one with an extraordinary error, preserved in near-perfect state, backed by rarity and collector demand? That's when the value climbs beyond belief. Now here's where it gets real. In the world of high-end coin collecting, there are stories that seem unbelievable, until they're proven true. And one such story belongs to a remarkable 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny. It was flawless. Red as fire. Untouched by time. It had all the qualities collectors dream of: beauty, rarity, and a mysterious minting anomaly that made it one of a kind. And when it finally reached the auction block, experts and bidders alike were stunned. The final price? $205,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 1 cent when it was made, sold for $205,000. That's not a rumor. That's a verified fact. So the next time you see a Lincoln Wheat Penny from 1952, don't brush it aside. Don't toss it in a jar. Take a moment. Study it. You could be holding a tiny piece of history. A story trapped in copper. A treasure waiting to be discovered. That's the wonder of coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the power of preserving our nation's past, one coin at a time. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins and hidden treasures, and leave a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Do you have a 1952 penny in your collection? Who knows, your story could be the next great discovery we share. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your hands steady, and your curiosity alive, because that one little coin might just change your life. Top 4. We're talking about a coin that's captured the imagination of collectors for decades. A coin that's famous not just for its age or condition, but for a legendary mistake that made it one of the most sought-after pennies in American history. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny. A 1-cent coin that shook the entire numismatic community, and still continues to surprise collectors to this very day. This isn't just a story about copper and cents. This is a story about chance, error, mystery, and the possibility that you could be holding a small fortune right in the palm of your hand. Let's begin. It was 1955. Dwight D. Eisenhower was in the White House. Rock and roll was exploding across the country. The polio vaccine had just been declared safe, and the United States was entering a new era of confidence and prosperity. In this period of rapid change, the U.S. Mint continued doing what it had always done, producing coins to keep the nation moving. Among the many coins that rolled off the presses that year was the iconic Lincoln Wheat Penny. Now let's take a closer look. On the front, or what collectors call the obverse, stands the familiar and timeless image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. This wasn't just any design. It marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a U.S. coin, and it's remained there ever since. On the back, the reverse, you see two graceful wheat stalks curving up the sides of the coin, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. It's simple. It's beautiful. And it's deeply American. But in 1955, something happened. Something very rare. Something no one at the Mint saw coming. And that mistake would go on to make history. One night, while striking pennies at the Philadelphia Mint, a misalignment occurred. A mechanical slip-up caused the coin die, the engraved stamp that impresses the design, to shift slightly between strikes. The result? A doubled die error. One of the most dramatic and famous doubling errors in U.S. coinage history. What does that mean, exactly? The doubling is most obvious in the text, "Liberty in God we trust," and the date, 1955, appear as though they've been shadowed or printed twice. And it's not subtle. It's bold. It's obvious to the naked eye. Imagine pulling a penny from your change and seeing every letter and number doubled, like a ghost image sitting just off the original. That's not normal. That's not common. And that's what makes this coin so legendary. Now here's the twist. Thousands of these era coins made it into circulation before anyone noticed. They weren't caught in time. They were released to the public, mixed in with everyday coins, and went straight into the hands of average Americans. People spent them. People saved them. Some people noticed the strange doubling and tucked them away, suspecting something rare. Others didn't look twice and spent them like any other penny. And that's why the 1955 doubled die Lincoln cent is now the stuff of legend. Over the years, as collectors began to hunt for these era coins, the 1955 penny quickly became one of the most famous and coveted pieces in American numismatics. It's been featured in books, articles, documentaries, and even in pop culture. Collectors talk about it in hushed, reverent tones. And for good reason. This isn't just an error. It's a masterpiece of accidental design. But not every 1955 penny is a doubled die. In fact, most of them are completely normal. Millions were minted that year. you'll find coins from Philadelphia with no mint mark. Denver did not produce any Lincoln cents in 1955. And the San Francisco Mint had ceased production of cents by that time. So, how do you know if yours is valuable? Here's what to look for. The word liberty on the left side of the obverse should appear twice, with bold, obvious doubling. In God we trust should have a ghost-like doubling throughout. And most importantly, the numbers and the date. 1955 should be so obviously doubled that it almost looks like a printing mistake. If you see that, your heart should start racing, because what you're looking at is not just a coin. It's history. A mistake that turned into a miracle. A 1-cent piece that's become a collector's dream. But there's more. Condition matters. Coins that were circulated, meaning they were used in everyday life, may still be valuable if they have this error. But if the coin is in mint condition or better, known as mint state, then you're looking at a whole different level of value. And here's where things get really exciting. Collectors around the world are constantly on the hunt for the perfect 1955 doubled die. One that's clean, uncirculated, brilliantly struck, and still glowing with its original copper red shine. These are the kinds of coins that make headlines. These are the ones that bring out bidding wars. These are the ones that sit in vaults, admired under magnifying glass, treasured by those lucky enough to find or afford them. And yes, some of them have sold for truly jaw-dropping amounts. Now imagine this. You're going through a coin jar, one you haven't touched in years. You spot a wheat penny. You see the date, 1955. You turn it toward the light. Your eyes widen. The letters look strange. The numbers seem thick, almost as if they were stamped twice. Your hands begin to shake. You do a quick search. You compare images. You take a deep breath. Could it be? Yes. It could, and if it is, you might be sitting on a treasure that doesn't just belong in a jar, it belongs in a museum, a high-end collection, or a world-famous coin auction. Because one such coin, a 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny in nearly perfect, uncirculated condition, displaying that now famous double die error, was sold to a collector for a jaw-dropping sum. That final price? $185,000. Yes. 1 cent. A single copper coin. Sold for $185,000. Let that sink in. So, the next time you check your change or open that old family coin box, remember this story. Look for the date. Look for the doubling. Examine the condition, because history doesn't just live in textbooks or museums. Sometimes it lives in your pocket. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this video interesting, give it a like, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in the wild. Who knows, your story could be our next episode. Until then, happy collecting, keep hunting, and never underestimate the power of a penny. Top 6. We're diving deep into the world of American numismatics, not just to admire a coin, but to uncover the story of a copper legend. A coin you might have passed by 100 times. A coin so unassuming, it could be lying unnoticed in an old jar in your attic right now. But what if I told you that this humble piece of metal, weighing just over 3 grams, could be worth a small fortune? This is the story of the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny, and by the end of this video, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. So, grab a seat, and let's start from the beginning. Because buried beneath its copper surface lies a story filled with history, mystery, and value beyond imagination. The year is 1957. It's a time of post-war optimism. America is booming. The suburbs are growing. Cars are long, gas is cheap, and Elvis Presley is on every radio. The Cold War looms quietly in the background, but life in the United States is thriving, fueled by innovation and possibility. And during this exciting chapter in American history, something incredibly ordinary is happening, something that will one day become extraordinary. The U.S. Mint is producing the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Now, to most people in 1957, this penny wasn't anything special. Just another 1-cent piece to buy bubble gum, pay for a newspaper, or save in a piggy bank. But today, it holds a place of honor among collectors, historians, and those lucky enough to find a rare one in perfect condition. Let's talk about why the Lincoln Wheat Cent was first minted in 1909, designed by the celebrated engraver Victor David Brenner. It was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, in honor of his 100th birthday. That iconic portrait on the obverse, the front, remains one of the most recognizable faces in American currency. The reverse side of the coin? It features two elegant stalks of wheat curving around the words 1 cent and United States of America. Simple, bold, and symbolic of the nation's agricultural roots. By the time 1957 rolled around, this design had already been in use for nearly half a century. But what many didn't realize at the time was that they were witnessing the last full production year of the wheat penny before its design changed forever. The following year, in 1958, the wheat ears would vanish, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. That means the 1957 penny is not only historical, it's the end of an era. In total, the U.S. Mint struck over 1.3 billion pennies in 1957, between the Philadelphia Mint, which had no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used a small d under the date to identify its origin. So here's the big question. How can a coin produced in the billions become one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in circulation today? The answer? Condition, errors, rarity, and timing. Let's break that down. First, condition. Most 1957 pennies were used and reused, passed through countless hands, dropped into soda machines, lost between couch cushions. Over time, they became scratched, worn, discolored. But a tiny number, maybe sealed in rolls, or saved in original mint packaging, were preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition. These coins retain their original red luster, the bright copper glow that collectors prize above all else. If the coin has a clean surface, strong strike, no nicks or wear, and that fiery red shine, it becomes a whole different level of collectible. Then we have the second factor, errors. Sometimes, things go wrong at the mint. And those accidents? They can turn a common coin into a jackpot. Examples of 1957 penny errors include doubled die obverse, where the words or numbers appear doubled from being struck twice slightly off. Repunched mint marks, where the D under the date is stamped more than once. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is literally missing because the coin blank wasn't perfectly aligned. Die cracks, where imperfections in the stamping tool leave raised lines across the coin. And even coins struck on the wrong planchet, the metal disc intended for another denomination or composition entirely. Each of these errors is a kind of fingerprint, a one-of-a-kind imperfection that turns a plain coin into a collectible masterpiece. And then, there's the third piece, rarity with imperfection. You see, while billions of 1957 pennies were made, only a minuscule number were saved in top-tier condition with rare mint errors. These coins didn't go into circulation. They were preserved, sometimes unknowingly, in collections, bank rolls, and even inside forgotten drawers. And that brings us to what makes this story truly exciting. Imagine you're sorting through your grandparents' coin collection. Maybe it's an old cigar box, or a dusty jar filled with change from decades past. You come across a wheat penny. It's dated 1957. You flip it over. It glows red. The details are sharp, crisp lines, perfect edges. Then you look again. Maybe there's something strange about the D mint mark. Maybe the lettering looks doubled. Your pulse quickens. You start comparing it to images online. You realize that this isn't just any penny. It's something else. Something rare. Something valuable. You take it to a coin dealer or grading service. They confirm your suspicions. It's a high-grade 1957 wheat penny with a rare error and stunning condition. And then, the real surprise comes. Because not long ago, one such coin, a 1957 Lincoln Wheat Cent in nearly flawless mint state, glowing with red brilliance, and featuring an incredibly rare and desirable minting anomaly, was brought to auction. Collectors from around the world were watching. The bidding was fierce, and when the final hammer dropped, the coin was sold for $165,000. Yes, a single penny, worth $165,000, Let that sink in. So what does this mean for you? It means treasure doesn't always come in chests or buried in the ground. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket. Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight in a bowl of spare change or inside an old piggy bank. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny is more than a coin. It's a time capsule. It's art. It's history. And in rare cases, it's a golden opportunity in copper clothing. So keep your eyes open, check your coins, and never, never underestimate the power of a penny. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another episode of Rare Coins and Hidden Treasures. And hey, if you've got a 1957 wheat penny, take a second look. It might just be worth far more than you ever imagined. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and remember, history has a way of hiding in the smallest places.